the Chase Thomas Podcast, for people who have nothing but time to kill.
Had some intrigue because it was kind of a throwback, and with the calendar being what it is, and bowl season, which we can touch on real quick. You and I was wondering if you had been, because we obviously were gone last week, so we didn't do bowl picks or anything like that. And like this year, I mean, we did it last year, and Matt, bowl season's cooked. Like, part of me, it's really sad that this is where we're at, but I also don't think it's really the playoffs' fault. Like, it's not a playoff issue. What's happened now is the portal being so wide open and kids having to leave at this point in time. All of these kids having to, because the semester starts and they're trying to jump in the boat, because also the early national signing day is right now on December 21st. So guys are having to make quick decisions. They're seeing what spots are open. They're trying to jump in different boats to make sure they don't get left behind. So the portal, you have over 1,200 kids and all this stuff. Like, it's a crazy number of people. So you have all these opt-outs. You have guys getting ready for the draft. You have guys having to jump out and go into their next team and leave their team. You also have like freshmen coming in who are coming into campus early, so they're practicing with the team. You have, obviously, like I said, the bowl opt-outs for the seniors who are getting ready for the draft. And then you have coaching changes, because there was a lot of coaching movement too. And you're like, it's just a recipe for disaster all across the board. And I just don't know how you get this on the right track, because the calendar is so messed up in college football. I don't know how you fix this, because classes start in January and guys have to leave with the way the calendar is structured. And if that's the case, all these are glorified scrimmages. Like, Tennessee's down to just a couple bodies at corner because of all the turnover and stuff like that. They're not real games. And I don't know. It just is a major bummer. I don't know if you feel the same, but I'm like, I don't want to be negative about this, but I don't know of another way of just saying that, like, it's bad. Like, the bowl season's cooked.
Yeah, without a doubt. Like, I have thoughts about the college football calendar, but I'll get to that in a minute. But I look at it, I think the college football playoff gets blamed for killing bowl season. I don't know that that's what it was. It seems like that's around the time that we started to hear talk about, meaningless bowl games and the Christian McCaffreys of the world sitting out of bowl games and things like that. I don't, part of it could have just been, was it maybe just the Jalen Smith injury in the Fiesta Bowl the one year that really turned him from like a top 5 pick to like a second round pick to play in a Fiesta Bowl versus Ohio State that was a top 10 matchup, but there was nothing really on the line. Like, so maybe more players took notice of that. And it's like, this game really isn't worth it. I can't necessarily, it's a bummer as a fan, to see these big time games. But we could deal with that. We could deal with, okay, well, yeah, he's going to be a first rounder. He's not going to play. We're going to see Florida and Oklahoma play, and Florida's best 3 skill players are out, and Oklahoma's got all these players opting out. But now that this transfer portal aspect variable is thrown in there, now it's like we got to fill a roster. Like, that's where I don't know how this is really a sustainable model. Like, you're seeing now, like we talked about a few weeks ago, like Alabama hired a coach that Michigan fired, a guy that was on their staff this year. And it's like, he's going to be a part of the bowl prep. Like, okay, so what's preventing a player from leaving a team this year and then being a part of the team for the bowl game? Like, I think honestly, Malik Murphy going to the portal should be like the red flag of all red flags, that it's like college football is in a crisis. Like, heaven forbid Quinn Ewers gets hurt in a college football playoff game and they got to go to their backup quarterback, and they're going to go to a third stringer that's played obviously Arch Manning's like a big time prospect, but they're going to go to a guy who's basically hasn't played all season. Like, Malik Murphy has been, and Quinn Ewers was down, and Malik Murphy actually had to start a game or two. And because of how jacked up the college football calendar is, this guy feels like, I have to go somewhere else for like my career. I need to go ahead and get somewhere, enroll for the spring semester. And like, that's just we're in a huge, it's until it wasn't affecting the playoff. It sucked for those other bowl games. Now that's affected the playoff, that players are not sticking around for actual playoff games. Like this is a red flag.
And we're not blaming Malik. Like, Malik was sad. That's even the worst part, is like
Yeah.
he was upset that he's having to do it. But he's like, look, man, like, I don't know what else to do. Like, the calendar is what the calendar is, and all these spots are gonna fill up. I have to go. So you're like, I mean, I don't know how you fix that though, because the calendar is what the calendar is. So when we expand the playoff, are we going to have some that opt out after the first round because of when the playoffs are, and then they see the landscape where like Malik is there for the first game and then he's gone for the second one because he just finally has to jump out? I mean, it's
like I know
so
I'm
messed
starting
up.
at Baylor and we're in the playoff, but I could start at Alabama next year if I go ahead and
Mhm.
just leave and enroll early. Yeah. So this is what my proposal for the college football calendar. We've talked about it a few times before. Early signing day should be in August, and there is no getting out of signing early your early letter of intent if a coach or something leaves. Like if you sign in August, you have to enroll at that school in spring. That would be my spring, fall, whenever you're enrolling. You sign early. Like if you're not sure you want to go there, just wait till the later signing day. The later signing day should be in March. That way, football, NFL coaches are getting hired and fired. College coaches are going to the NFL, all that sort of thing. You got March to get position coaches and everybody in there for an actual national signing day. We never needed the early signing period for guys to enroll early. Like if you just want to enroll in school in January, you didn't have to sign early. Like that was never a thing. So you can still enroll even if you didn't sign your national letter of intent at any point. So it doesn't affect the early enrollees in any way. And then I think you get to the postseason, and we got conference championship weekend, the first weekend of December. There's no more Heisman bye week. Like if you want a Heisman trophy, give it out on a Wednesday, give it out on a Tuesday or something. I don't know. Give the Sunday after conference championship. But we got to go straight from conference championship into the playoff. And we're going to have a 3 weeks, right? The round of 12, round of 8, 4 weeks, round of 4, and then the championship. So hopefully the championship can be on like January 1st, that like first week of January, like that sort of thing. January 1st is just such a huge TV day for bowl games. So I know that they want those like semifinal games around there, big time bowl games, something like that. Also, this is what nobody else is talking about. Cardale Jones tried to tell you people a decade ago, they're not playing school. They're not there to play school. These college football programs are the biggest money makers these universities have. So for that reason, move the damn academic calendar back a couple weeks. No Division I, no school of Division I college football should start their spring semester before January 20th, right? Like you move that back the third week of January, some sort of whatever you want to make it, so that it doesn't interfere with the college football playoff postseason. Guys have ample time to finish out their commitment with their team, figure out the university they want to enroll in for the spring. That's how I fix college football right there, sir.
I don't hate that. Also, just like, why do they have to be in, like, just put them in the middle semester? Like the middle, why do they have to be enrolled? Maybe that's a new rule, is where they're in the university, but they don't take classes or whatever, or they don't have, you know what I mean? There's got to be a way around the portal windows being what they are because of classes starting back.
There's so many online classes, right?
Yeah.
Like you can probably figure out something, transferable credits or something like that. Cause they're different students. Like we all know this. They shouldn't necessarily be treated the exact same. There's a way around it so that they're taking
there is a
classes
major way around it,
something.
which is you separate them from the university altogether, and we just like, you license Tennessee, you license University of Georgia, and they can do school on their own time. They are allowed to do that. You can use a free.
Hey, there's obviously, like the commercial says, there's a lot of these guys. 99% of them are going pro in something other than sports. So there's obviously, they're not all professional athletes.
No.
So the education is a valuable aspect of getting the scholarship. So you don't have to up in the entire system. I just think you need to do something more so that we're not just in this chaotic month of like Alabama and Michigan and Washington, Texas are prepping for the biggest games of the season right now. And their coaches are flying around the country trying to sign high schoolers. Like we're messed up. Like we're not doing these things right. So we just need to get the sport a little bit back on the rails.
And there's no czar. So I don't think it does. I just think we're going to continue just doing crazy stuff in this sport until they split from the NCAA and have their own governing body. Maybe the CFP creates their own governing body that I don't know, but there needs to be a split sooner rather than later. Chip Kelly had a great outline about what he would do that I liked a lot, that I would highly encourage folks to listen his 2.5 minute answer from last week. I really enjoyed that, and I just love Chip. But
and Chip Kelly, he was talking about, right, like the college football conferences can just be arbitrary, right? Like they don't even need them. Like Notre Dame is in a different conference than other sports. So obviously you're able to do that. But I'm saying you can still keep their students at the university still and do something like what Chip Kelly is doing. Like you don't have to make these guys just pro athletes and they just happen to be living on the campus of this university and they're not affiliated with the school in any way. Like, I don't think that's the answer.
It might be where we're headed. I don't know. Who knows? It's just that something has to change because this December calendar is absurd. And I couldn't imagine how terrible it's got to be for these coaches all across the board, especially like the ones you said who are literally preparing for the college football playoff. And they're also having to bust their ass doing this down the stretch. So more power to them. That's what the money is for.
Of course. But also, like, we're talking about them. Like, what about, like we said, we haven't even been paying attention to the bowl games. Georgia Southern played in a bowl game a couple days ago, right? Like, those other programs that aren't doing very well, that are playing mid-December bowl games, no disrespect to the mid-December, it might have been your best season in years, but you're not playing in a big-time bowl. Like, you're literally playing in a game within days of signing day. Like this, we just got to do something about this.
Well, you know what else you could do? You could move the start of the season up so that bowls happen earlier, and a lot of these bad bowls happen end of November, early December. Like maybe that's part of it. You finish up all those. Like I don't know. Like I think the calendar needs to move up anyway.
Those early September Saturdays are pretty hot in the South, and I don't know if I want to move those into August.
Yeah, I mean, look,
playing a noon kickoff in Gainesville, Florida on August 17th. I don't know.
You got to do something because December is broken in college football. Any final things? Let's hit Georgia, who we said is number one. They have the number one signing class here. Matt Green lose Dylan Raiola, which was growingly expected, to Nebraska. He posted a poem about his decision to make the flip to Nebraska. His uncle is the offensive line coach. Obviously, his dad played at Nebraska.
Yeah.
It's hey, Kyle McCord we thought was going to go with him, and then Kyle McCord, because Fran Brown's out here doing work up at Syracuse, pulls Kyle McCord from Ohio State, but also a guy who was like a Georgia Bulldog assistant coach like a couple weeks ago, and now he's just
go. Nicely done, nephew. The Chase Thomas podcast. Hell yeah.